Welcome to the Red and Gold Report, your best source for weekly Chiefs news. On this week's episode, we're going to be breaking down the final Chiefs preseason game that just took place. We're going to be looking forward to the first regular season game, and we'll be grading the quarterback position heading into this season. Hey, if you want to get your Chiefs news brought to you by a guy who thought that he really had found a secret underground passageway between Arrowhead and Kauffman Stadium as a child, well then, you gotta subscribe to this channel. The big news in Chiefs Kingdom is that the Chiefs defeated the Vikings in their final preseason game to go 3-0 in the preseason. But I really feel like the preseason is like the movie previews at the movie theater. I mean, sure, there's a few times you get excited, but you really are just waiting for it to get over so you can watch the real thing. But the question is, who helped and who hurt themselves in this final preseason game? Well, the big win was the Chiefs' first team offense made things look more than easy. They drove down effortlessly for 2 quick touchdowns in their first 2 possessions. Then smartly, the coaches who had planned to leave them in longer, they took them out of the game. The first team offensive line looked good, which is encouraging with 5 all new starters heading into the regular season. And Mahomes looked like Mahomes. I mean, he completed his first 6 passes in a row. He went 8 for 9 on the night and had 2 touchdowns. One was this brilliant cross-body throw that only Mahomes could make to the tight end Bell for a touchdown, which, was his third read at best. The other was a deep bomb to Tyreek Hill. Both Hill and Kelsey also looked amazing. They made excellent plays that perfectly sum up their skill sets. The Chiefs' first team defense also played really well, holding the Vikings to next to nothing. They looked amazing in the preseason. 4th string running back Derek Gore looked really good, and he might be vying for a roster spot here. He led the team in rushing and had 80 yards receiving. 56 of those came on an amazing long touchdown run on this screen pass that looked dead in the water at the line of scrimmage. Tyler Clark, who is the 5th defensive tackle right now and who is an undrafted free agent in 2020, has bounced around the league, really hadn't been a factor in the first 2 preseason games, but on Friday night, Clark lived in the backfield of the Vikings' 3rd string offensive line, getting upfield quickly, and he led the team in tackles from defensive tackle. It might not be enough to get him a roster spot, but he looked great in the game. Starting slot corner Mike Hughes he's played well in the preseason, and Friday night he had a punt return for a touchdown that unfortunately got called back because of a penalty, but he was awesome in it. Starting linebacker Willie Gay was flying around the field, including a great collision that jarred a would-be reception loose near the goal line. And after a really tough, rough first 2 preseason games, 4th round draft pick defensive end Joshua Kando had a good game. Previously, he had looked really slow to diagnose plays and slow to move to the ball, but in this game, he had a few good pressures. He had 2 good tackles moving right down the line of scrimmage against the run, and he had this crazy diving fumble recovery, so he looked much better. Plenty of players looked great on Friday night. So who? Well, didn't look so great. 5th round rookie receiver Cornell Powell looks like his time is probably coming to a close with the Chiefs. Unfortunately, Powell, he wasn't good in training camp. He was only targeted twice during the game, and he only had 1 catch. At this point, it seems highly unlikely that he's going to take a roster spot from Kemp or Fountain. Other than Powell, the only other shady spot for Friday night on the Chiefs was 2nd string offensive line. Now, there's a ton of starting experience on the 2nd team offensive line, but somehow they haven't looked good against backup defensive lines in the preseason. But overall, the Chiefs played a really great preseason game. That builds momentum heading into this season. So, with the last preseason game in the books, what do you think? With cuts coming up, who will be a surprise player who you think is going to be cut or retained by the Chiefs? Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. In other Chiefs news, the Chiefs, along with all NFL teams, must cut their rosters from 80 to 53 players by Tuesday, August 31st. There are still some competitions going on to see who's going to make those final roster spots at wide receiver, running back, linebacker, and corner. It feels a lot like The Bachelor, with Andy Reid as the Bachelor and all of us Chiefs fans wondering who's going to get the final rose of these positions. Except that show is garbage. And this is actually interesting. Next week, we're going to have this special video covering just the roster cuts and depth chart, so you got to watch out for that one. In other Chiefs news, the next game's a real game, guys. No more preseason games, right? They're going to face the Cleveland Browns in week 1 of the season at Arrowhead. It's going to be an afternoon game. The Browns, they're an interesting team. Over the last few years, they have been irrationally hyped, but they do have talent. And of course, the Chiefs beat the Browns last year in the divisional playoffs, but the Browns hurt Patrick Mahomes late in the game. So Chiefs fans still remember this. Browns fans think it was a clean hit. Chiefs fans think it was a dirty head-hunting hit. And you know what? We're all just going to agree Browns suck. But this offseason, the already good Browns got legitimately better. They stacked their defensive backs in free agency and the draft, which means that maybe they're kind of fixating on trying to stop the Chiefs' passing game. Good luck. My prediction is that the Chiefs are going to win by 10, with the Browns' defensive end Myles Garrett probably assaulting a line judge with his helmet, Baker Mayfield doing some awful dance moves that have no point, and Browns wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. dropping 4 to 5 passes. Who do you think is going to win, and by how much? Leave a comment below and let me know. But really, this is a tough first game for the Chiefs, but one I really think they're going to win. They should win. The Browns really have spent the offseason trying to load up and fortify against the Chiefs' passing game. So to me, the key to the game will be whether the Chiefs can come out and establish a bruising run game with their revamped offensive line in the first quarter, which brings us to our weekly injury update report. Second string running back Darrell Williams is coming back in a limited role to practice, but he was held out of that final preseason game due to concussion protocol. First string running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire was held out of the game due to an ankle sprain. Frank Clark and corner Rashad Fenton were held out with bad hamstrings, and guards Kyle Long and Laurent Duvernay-Tardif look like they're still going to be out a few more weeks recovering from injury as well. And with all that recent Chiefs news out of the way, I've been taking time every week to grade a different position group heading in to the season. And now, here's our final one. We looked at all the positions. Our final one is quarterback. And well, you already know the Chiefs have the best quarterback in the NFL. Now, I want to do a video just on Mahomes' greatness someday. So I have to find some way to kind of shorten what I have to say about Mahomes. But let's put Patrick Mahomes' greatness into perspective with a few statistics. Though Patrick is only 25 years old, he's only 25. Isn't that hard to believe? He has the greatest quarterback rating of all time. Yep, best rating of all time. He is the fastest player in NFL history to reach 100 passing touchdowns. Yep, fastest ever. Yeah, he has the best passing touchdown to interception ratio of all time. Yep, better than anyone. He has the all-time record for passing yards per game. Yeah, best ever. He is second on the list of all-time single-season touchdown passes, ninth for all-time single-season passing yards, and second for all-time yards per pass attempt. Though he has only started for 3 seasons, he's won a league MVP, he's won a Super Bowl, and he's returned to another Super Bowl. Okay, so those are the numbers. Those are the statistics. He is amazing. But what makes Mahomes so special? Well, a few things. First is his creativity. He's the most creative quarterback in the league. He can create when really there's nothing available or open. When the play that's called doesn't work, he has an unparalleled ability to improvise. And the defense is caught having to defend a totally new play. Second is his ability to throw from any angle. Unlike any other quarterback, he has the talent and he has the ability to put his arm to throw at any angle. You even saw this in the last preseason game, throwing sidearm. He's thrown underhand, he's thrown sidearm, overhand, everything in between. But the angle that doesn't get enough notice is Mahomes' ability to throw back against his body. Watch a game with any other quarterback, and if they're right-handed, I bet you'll see them never or only occasionally successfully complete impressive passes moving to their left, which forces them to throw against their body. You might not notice, but uniquely, Mahomes does this every single game. He makes it look easy. His ability to throw against his body on the move, it opens up an entire half of the field that's simply not available for most quarterbacks on bootlegs and scrambles and any time that he's moving to his left. Third is Mahomes' ability to throw off any platform. Most quarterbacks must see a read, set their feet, and then throw. But unlike almost any other quarterback, Mahomes doesn't have to do that. He can throw from any platform, meaning he doesn't have to set his feet, which it saves him that time and it allows him to make split-second decisions that no other quarterback has the luxury to make. Fourth is his mobility. Mahomes does not foolishly use his legs to try to become a running back like some mobile quarterbacks. Instead, he wisely uses them to extend plays, which it opens up all sorts of other opportunities. On scramble plays, when he's forced out of the pocket, Mahomes has a shocking ability to always manage to pick up the first down. But rarely does he put himself in dumb situations to really be hit. Fifth, Mahomes, he's a physical talent. I think this gets lost in the conversation. He's a big man at the position. At 6 feet 3 inches, 230 pounds with over 33-inch arms. This size means he's really hard to take down in the pocket. He also has an absolute cannon for an arm. His arm strength is elite, maybe the best in the league, and it's rumored he might be able to throw the ball 85 yards. But maybe this isn't the surprise. I mean, his dad was an MLB pitcher. Sixth is his mental aptitude. He has amazing field vision, meaning he is able to work his way through every one of his progressions, every one of his options, which essentially only belongs to elite quarterbacks in the NFL. He also has great mental anticipation. He is a football genius in a way that's hard to appreciate just watching him on TV. He has the ability to understand coverages, to know how a safety is dropping, to know whether a corner is playing zone or man, and then he seemingly puts that information in his brain and then is able to instinctively recall where that player is likely going to be later in the play. It's incredible. Now, I could go on and on and on, but Mahomes, he isn't just the best quarterback in the NFL. He's revolutionizing the position. Mahomes isn't just the best quarterback in the NFL, he is the best player in the NFL. And I don't think it's close. But the Chiefs quarterbacks don't end with Mahomes. Backup quarterback is an important position in the NFL, and the Chiefs have a good one in Chad Henne. Now, there are 4 qualities you really want in a backup NFL quarterback. A backup quarterback needs to be experienced, cheap, knowledgeable, and good enough. So first, experienced. Chad Henne has all the experience you can handle. He's going into his 14th year. Henne has thrown 1,997 passes in the regular season. He has 13,208 yards of passing, and he's thrown 60 touchdowns in his career. That's a lot of experience. Second, you need your quarterback to be cheap. Backup quarterback is an important position, but the truth is that when your starter goes down with an injury, your Super Bowl aspirations are probably over, right? So it's essential not to overpay for a backup QB. The Bears are paying backup Nick Foles $8 million a year. The Browns are paying backup Case Keenum $6 million a year. And the Saints are apparently paying gadget backup quarterback Taysom Hill $10.5 million this year. That's stupid. It really is. But Chad Henne comes in cheap. He'll be paid $1.6 million in his second year of his 2-year deal, making him only the 48th highest paid quarterback this year. I can't believe I'm saying that someone making $1.6 million a year is cheap. Third, you want your backup quarterback to be knowledgeable in your system. And, this will be Henne's 4th season in the Chiefs system. Oh, and of course, he won that huge playoff game last year at the last minute for the Chiefs when Mahomes went down with wobbly knees concussion, which I about lost it when Henne threw that ball to Hill. It was amazing. And fourth, you want your backup quarterback to be good enough. Good enough. Obviously, you want him to be good, but if he's too good, there's going to be constant distractions about him competing for the starting spot, or maybe him being traded to another quarterback-needy team. So like Goldilocks porridge, your backup needs to be not too hot, but not too cold. And that's exactly what Chad Henne is. He has a career completion percentage of 60%, which is, it's good enough. He has a career yards per attempt of about 6 yards, which is good enough. And in his 4 games over the last 3 seasons of the regular season with the Chiefs, he's thrown 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, which is, it's good enough. So he's just, good enough, which is exactly what you're looking for in a backup quarterback. So, Chad Henne is the perfect backup quarterback. He's everything you want from a backup. He's experienced, cheap, knowledgeable, and he's good enough, which brings us to the 3rd string quarterback, who often makes it to the practice squad. The Chiefs signed undrafted free agent Shane Buechele this offseason. He was a top 5 dual threat quarterback recruit coming out of high school. Buechele originally went to Texas, and then later he transferred to SMU. At SMU, he was a team captain, and over 2 years, he averaged about 29 touchdowns a year and 8.2 yards per attempt. And for a 3rd-string rookie, he's been just fine. He's been okay in the preseason. He's had some ups and downs, but he's been fine. He doesn't have the talent to ever compete to be a starter, but it would be fun if he stuck around the Chiefs for a few years and then took over as backup for Chad Henne after he got a little long in the tooth. Your expectations for a 3rd-string quarterback should be the same expectations as you have for Taco Bell. Anything even passable should be just fine. And Shane seems more than passable. So how should I grade the Chiefs quarterbacks? Well, they've got the best player in the NFL as a starter, a perfect backup, and a better than passable 3rd stringer. So it's pretty obvious the Chiefs quarterbacks are an A+++++++. They're amazing. They're amazing. Mahomes is the best player in the league. Thanks for watching the Red and Gold Report. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please click that subscribe button on YouTube. It'll make sure you see my other videos, and it'll help grow this channel for the good of all Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for watching, and you know what? Go Chiefs!